What's up, Alexis?
Hey, Brandon.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, we're here. I'm liking it. I'm liking
It's been a few
it.
weeks since we've been back in these
It
little
has
chairs.
been, honestly. I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
enjoying it
enjoying
a
it too.
little bit more than I thought I would, to begin with.
You
so.
didn't think you'd have fun with me talking, creating conversation? Why?
What?
I'm a fun girl.
There's vast differences.
Brandon calls me an acquaintance, not a friend, so that's how we'll start this episode off this week, guys. You know, I've really been trying to see if Brandon and I, if this is like working together has made us closer or whatnot. No, I'm still deemed an acquaintance.
An
And Brandon's
acquaintance.
like,
First and foremost, you'll forever be an acquaintance if you ever allow me to go on this show again looking like I have a toupee on. That's the worst. There's no way you can be my friend. I don't care what anyone says. There's no way you can be my friend and say not like, hey, listen, maybe you look a little crusty. Like maybe you're looking a little. Nothing.
I didn't want to make you
That's
feel
a good thing.
insecure or like call out anything, you know?
That's see. Then how can we be friends? No, but
I
you
didn't want
got-
to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess
but-
so. But you guys are live with two scoops. We're
Yeah,
here.
we're back.
You know, we're back. Episode, what is this? Where are we? 5? We're in 5 already.
Yeah, it's 5.
It's 5. We're kind of like
That's one of my lucky numbers. Hey.
1.
Yeah, I have a few. But 5 is one of them. Any variation of the number 5,
Is there one that takes precedent?
15.
It has to do with the 5 as well. Okay, 15. I like that.
What's your
I like
lucky
that.
number? That's a fun question of the day.
No, there's no way. There's no way I can think of it.
Okay.
14.
No, that's so stupid. You can't say 14 after I said 15. That's just one singular digit difference. All right, whatever. I don't like the answer to what you said anymore.
You know you're rocking with today's show. You know that, right? Like,
I
you gotta
am
lead
rocking
on this
with
because I
t-
dropped the ball. So
Brandon dropped the ball, and I am taking lead on this episode more so because I think that I just have a little bit more.
you have more of a say here.
I have more of a say here,
You
and I
definitely
just
have more of
have
a say
probably
here.
more stories. Let's just, I guess, like if we start off the bat, like today we're gonna be talking about, you know, the quote unquote quarter life crisis.
Hey, the crises.
Crises.
But a lot of I feel like this is something that not a lot of people acknowledge, though.
Oh no, I think
I
that
was kind of
majority
excited
of
for this.
people in, you know, our society think of, you know, when you're going through a crisis, it's a midlife crisis.
So like what?
You don't hear the term quarter life crisis all
No,
that often.
ever.
You hear the
Why
term
would you?
midlife crisis though
Midlife.
all the time.
midlife. But if you're at 23, 24, 25, I would say you're about at your quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not jumping off into like longevity, taking care of yourself, whatever. But like 24, 25, you're about there. You know what I mean? Because where you really want to be at 100. I don't know. You want to be a centennial? And I don't. Do you want to
I
act
like
that
know
or
for a
not?
fact that I'm not gonna live even remotely close to 100.
Ooh, scoop. We're going to turn it back. I don't want to think
I'm
about
just
that.
being-
We're gonna go
I mean,
right
I'm
back.
just being so for real when I say
okay.
that though.
Okay. So at the quarter life, though, when you were younger, whatever age, I don't care. When you were younger, where did you think you would be at 22 post grad? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what did you imagine that life would be?
You know, that's a great question because the answer that I'm going to say is the complete far opposite end of like where I'm actually at in my life. But you know, when I was younger,
Pragmatic, you knew that you're gonna be.
oh, like I thought that I was going to be like running a company at the age of like 23 while also simultaneously being in a great relationship that's going to lead to marriage. And
Okay,
I can tell
okay.
the listeners
good.
right now that I am nowhere near that.
But that's good
And
though.
it's
You
okay.
shoot for the moon, right? Or shoot for the stars, land on the moon, right? That's the thing. Yeah,
What did you just say?
shoot for the stars, land on the moon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to make up some bullshit analogy that you were just.
Hey, it may very well
but
be.
that's
you
pretty
know?
good. I like that.
It may very well be, but I don't know. It's not too lofty of expectations, right?
No.
At 23, I feel like people have done it,
Yeah.
right?
No, and I think that, you know, nowadays with the whole social media world that we live in, it's a lot easier to do that.
Okay.
I don't know, because you know, you look at influencers and people like that like have, you know, this name on social media and they're getting tons and tons and tons of money from literally just like posting videos. And, you know, but some of them consider themselves like entrepreneurs.
But it's back to our previous show. I feel like this is a highlight to a previous show, like where this is really the new form of media. This is how people are digesting their information nowadays. It's like they would rather cite and source an anomaly than go based off of the status quo, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like that's, I might just be coming up with that right now. That might be one of my bullshit analogies, but I think that I see it's like more prevalent. Like that's like, even if it's whether like the athletes are getting into it more or individuals who have more of a say, doctors creating social media accounts or,
Yeah.
you know, giving their like 2-step processes or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I just think that, I don't know, the post-grad world that I live in right now is definitely a lot, you know, just being at the age of 22, let's even not just solidify it as post-grad. It's definitely a lot more different compared to, you know, when you were my age, ages ago.
there's
Ages
a lot
ago.
of there's a lot of differences.
Your
now
bones are
between-
creaking.
My bones
Ooh.
are. Hey, listen.
Oh.
I feel pretty well. I feel pretty good right now at this stage of my life. Honestly, I look.
Do you wish you were being 23 again?
No, never. I wholeheartedly believe I couldn't wait for these years of my life. This is where I wanted to be. I knew it. I just knew.
You wanted to be
in my 30s. Like I
Why?
was okay with it. So I
I've
was
never met
comfortable.
anybody that said that.
Why?
That said that they want to be in their 30s.
Because I'm so ready for it. You know, like I just feel because our quarter lives were different. I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like your quarter life crisis. I had my quarter. What would you say? Like, what's the crises? I feel like you're on the way.
Well, I think that I'm on the way, but I don't think that I'm necessarily going through a quarter life crisis. But I do think that I am.
See it? Do you see it? Like it's like
If I
like, is it
didn't,
something-
if I didn't have as good of a like, if I was going like at this, say I'm at this time now, but I was in the mental state that I was a few years ago, yeah, I'd be going through a quarter life crisis.
Okay, fair.
I think that I have a little bit better head on my shoulders nowadays to kind of guide me through this.
But you were saying
And I've
something.
also what?
You were saying something earlier. Finish your thought. I want you. To
I was
finish
just
it.
no, it's just like I think that also a lot of the people that I've surrounded myself with now at this age have lifted me up. Which,
Good support.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a
really good
lot better of a support system now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But you were also mentioning something earlier before the show, like you were getting into some stats about like what you said, like 28 million people.
I think it was like 23 million of Americans aged 18 to 29 still live at home.
That's a real thing. That was a
Yeah,
real
it was
thing.
like 43% or something like that.
Wait,
I
that's-
can get the exact note right here, but
I
is
don't
that not
know.
crazy?
Is that a crisis?
Yeah.
Or is
Oh,
that
yeah.
like,
It's 23 million or 45% of all Americans are living with family aged 18 to 39.
And that was what year was that? So
2023.
That was today. I know.
Yeah.
I know we're in 2024, but I feel like that's today.
Well, that surprised me too, because I mean, you know, I look at a lot of my friends because here I am. We said that this is the perfect episode for me to take a lead on because I am almost exactly at a year post grad. So I've seen, you know, myself and I've seen my friends and what we're all doing like post grad. And, you know, I have some friends, like I have one friend that literally graduated, got a job offer from this job, but they were in like a hiring freeze. So she was just waiting and waiting and waiting. She didn't want to go anywhere else but this company.
Okay.
And then they finally, you know, gave her the
How,
job.
how long was that like hold?
It was like full. She like had.
I'm just interested
She graduated in May, and then she came home for the entire summer, and then I think she went back around like. She like moved out in October, so it was like a
5-6 months. Like,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
yeah, it was a good chunk of time.
Okay, chunk of time, but she just held out. She
She held out.
Yeah,
She
I'm gonna-
wanted this one job,
Yeah.
and she waited for that. And you know, it's a job that was in her field of study at school,
Okay.
and she really liked the company. And then yeah, she literally picked up her life, and now she lives in Connecticut. And I mean, she's living her best life,
That's
but
the best. I mean, that's a
but it is
super
crazy
positive
because
note.
yeah, she's only one. She's one of the few friends that has actually, you know, fully picked up and moved out of our hometown and like started her own life in the corporate world and stuff like that. Not many of us are doing
I'm still
that. Yeah.
so caught up on the 40%.
Why
40%
does-
between
why-
that age group are just.
Well, I mean,
I think that's.
I'm
a
living at
long
home
time.
now, but,
Yeah,
like,
that's a
I hope by
long
the-
time to go. Though,
this time
you
next
know?
year I will not be living at home. And the only reason I'm living at home is simply because I'm saving money.
I guess, but it's like, is it positive or negative? Like it's wrong to spin it one way or the
Well,
other.
here's my
because
thing.
like people should be more dependent on their families and their situations, and like actually like lean into them because it could help you.
I mean,
You know what
yeah.
I mean, it could help like
Yeah,
elevate
but
you.
also it comes to a certain point too where I think that you're gonna be like, I don't want to live at home anymore.
Yeah, true.
Like,
true. But so at
like,
what?
because even now, like, you know, I went to college, I lived out of my house for 4 years of my life, and you know, now I'm back to living at home. And like my mom, even now, she's like, oh, where are you going? What are you doing? It's like, girl, I love you, but like you don't need to know what I'm doing because I'm about to be 23. You know what I mean? Like she like doesn't have to ask me what I'm like what my plans are.
I hear that.
But I also like
get
do
you.
appreciate, but then there is things that I love about living at home that like.
I'm sure. So that goes into the question because I finally feel like.
Well,
I'm on
here's the
task.
thing. When
Is
I was
that-
reading the articles to like get some statistics for this episode, I saw, you know, a lot of the time, a main reason for it is obviously financial reasons. And also, this is
True.
something that I didn't even think about. But, you know, when everything happened with COVID back in 2020, I think that a lot of people did move back home because
makes sense. I think that makes
so
sense.
maybe people, you know, just kind of was like,
It's
yeah,
working.
This
It's
is the
working
high
for
life,
us. Yeah.
living at home. You know,
I
don't
mean,
gotta pay for
a lot of cultures lean into their families and elevate themselves.
But that's
through
the thing
trust
too, is that
and
there's some
assembly and tuition.
you know, cultures where you stay together the entire time. You don't really move out. Like there's you know what I mean?
Yeah, you accumulate more as a group,
Exactly.
as a source. You know, what I mean, as one
Yeah.
source or company than you would as an individual, essentially. But
Yeah.
I mean, neither here nor there. I feel like it really goes into when do you think like what's the appropriate amount of time? Like when does it go into like it starts to affect you? Like it's afflicting like your perception of like what your situation is going to be, how you're going to be able to take care of yourself, like or who's to really say. But I'm just like, at what point do you say like, okay, this is like thank you for everything, you know what I mean? Thank you for everything, but I'm gonna take that next step and move forward, you know?
I mean, like, obviously, I mean, speaking from my own personal experience, when I first like came back home, the reason I moved back home was so that I could like save money because I was broke. But I also knew that me living at home was temporary. Like from the get-go, as soon as I graduated, I was like, I'm going back home, but this is not going to be a forever thing. And this is not something that I want to be like a long period of time where I'm living back at home.
I'm just trying to, I guess like what I'm trying to grasp is what are the long-term expectations of like that kind of like, or the future generation of the individuals that are like coming up into the workforce or trying to establish themselves. It's like, is it
What do you
driven?
mean?
Like, I guess I don't have
I
a
swear to God,
understanding of
if
it.
you go off on a tangent again about how my generation is not driven and we have no work ethic, then I will literally
I don't
lose
know.
my mind because
I
that
wanna
is
have
not
faith.
fair.
I want to have faith.
You didn't even go to college, so it's like it's a completely different
You're
thing.
not wrong. You're not
Exactly. Exactly. I know I'm not wrong. I
You're not
know that
wrong.
I'm right because that's not fair. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Just like how, okay, so like, why don't you answer that question? What do you think is the appropriate amount of time to be moving back in with your family before you start to feel afflicted and like you need to get out?
I feel like 27, 28.
See,
Yeah,
like, and
mean,
I think
you're
that that's
late-
way
you're late
too
to-
old.
Like,
20.
yeah,
If I'm
yeah,
still
that's
living
like-
at home at 27, like I have
that's
to get
where
my
I feel
shit
like
together.
yeah, I feel like that's
No
where
offense,
it starts to
you
come
know?
into a like that's where it's really that's catching up with you. Do you know, like it might really be hindering you more than it's helping.
Well,
you.
because here's my thing. If you're 27 years old, you have a, like, let's just put it into perspective. You have a decent job. What is the point of just living at home?
But I want to be objective. Like, what if it's mutually beneficial? So we don't.
What
know
do you
every
mean mutually
situation.
beneficial? Yeah, if there's certain things like, you know, health concerns and like you're
Yeah,
taking
or
care of your,
whatever.
that's a completely different
Or just,
situation than
like,
what
or
we're even talking
financially.
about. I mean, yeah, financials, and that's a whole other ballpark. I mean, hello, I just said to you, the reason I'm living at home right now is because I couldn't afford to like move out and get my own apartment.
Yeah, but I mean, at 20.
Also, though, I didn't want to do that in my hometown.
I mean,
like
at
I
22,
have this.
23, I was already like on my like fourth apartment, my fourth.
Okay,
lease.
but I've
already,
lived.
like,
I've lived
leased
in two
like-
apartments too in college.
Okay.
Don't make that face. Like, what do you mean?
What face? What face?
I mean, they are apartments. I lived in them.
You're not wrong.
Did
You're
I
not-
fully pay for them?
I-
No.
I'm just.
but
I'm just saying. Like,
but that was my thing too. It's like my mom said, you're not gonna move out until you can afford to move out and live on your own. Like there's like no help from me, nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And exactly. And I agree with her on that standpoint.
So you just figure out what that workload is or what that burden is, and then you know,
but I'm saying,
tackle it.
Yeah. But I don't know, and this sounds like really stereotypical and like whatever. But a lot of the people that live at home that are like 29, if they're like, maybe they don't have the drive. Like, you want to talk about me not having drive in my generation. I'm sure that there are some people in your generation that don't have it either.
Yo, that's a huge. There's a large range there between.
What do you mean a large? Yeah, it's a large range.
40, but the concerning part is 40%. That's like that's.
I mean, yeah, but it's like we said. Like, I think that probably after the pandemic, like that number probably changed a lot.
I mean, I'm sure there's good and bad to it, and there may be a lot more positive coming out from it that we can see, but. I mean, for the most part, I would like an answer to that. I would like to see what is the real authority there. Like, when is it starting to like inhibit you? Because there's no way that you think at 27 you've been getting your laundry done for you your whole life. You know what I mean? You never mowed the lawn. You know, you never dealt with any type of plumbing situation or any home. Like, I'm just saying, like, that you think that you're gonna be able to somehow figure that out or service that for yourself.
But those aren't like, okay, realistically, like, let's be realistic here. Mm-hmm. Like, you're like, oh, now that I know how to mow the lawn, I'm a real man. I'm a grown and I'm an adult because I know how to, I don't know how to mow the lawn, but I sure as hell know how to do my own laundry.
Okay, there you go. I'm just saying to an extent, like I by no means am I saying some fucking, postulant masculine shit that is about trying to be a man. I'm just, at what point are you gonna take care of shit for yourself? Really, that's where I'm getting at. It's like,
see, but this is where I disagree with you, because it's like I fully am capable of taking care of myself, but I'm living at home.
But do you want to?
What do you mean? I still do take care of myself.
Is it a want?
Everything that I want, I buy for with my own money. Everything that, like, I pay for my phone bill, I pay for my car, I pay for everything. The only thing I don't pay for is rent, which is like, because I'm living in my childhood home.
Which would, that's not always the case.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, for 40% of them, it is the case. So I guess that's honestly becoming more of a, that's becoming more of a, like, common denominator there, where there's more of equal grounds. I like this conversation because I feel like everyone got a reset. You mentioned COVID earlier, and I was like, my one thing is like everyone got a reset during COVID. Because
got a reset.
Yeah, the entire country got the American dream. They got to not work and get paid.
I know you did not just say
they got to
that
not
after
work
COVID, everybody got the American dream. Are you kidding me?
Everyone got to sit at home, not work and get paid. Either way you look at it, you got a reset. A hard reset that put everyone on the equal playing ground.
It did not put everybody on an equal playing ground, because I disagree with you.
I'm not looking at the 1%ers. I'm looking at everybody.
Of course you're not. Of course you're not.
Because why would it be about the things
because
we can't
they're
control?
Part of society too.
But you can't control those factors. I'm looking at what is like predominant around us, like what is actually immediate, like, or the people around us, the individuals that were afflicted by it. It was all the same all around for everyone around us. Do you know what I mean? They all felt it in some way, shape, or form. But at the same time, everyone got to stop, hit pause, and got reset. They were paid and they were financed throughout all of that. Were they or were they not? They were. That's what I'm saying. Regardless, if you qualified for it, if you lived on your own, you got a hard reset. And it creates a sense.
I did not view it as a reset.
Regardless, sorry. A false allure of whatever. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to play into any narrative. I'm just saying everyone got an equal playing field at that point. You didn't like your job, you didn't like what you're doing, if you didn't like your life, you didn't like your situation, regardless of what it was, it wasn't
a choice though.
Exactly. And that at that moment, every person.
But living at home, I think with the generalized conversation of what we're talking about right now, there's a choice.
I'm just using, yes. And now that we're in it, now we're in the post, it's great to talk about when is it time, you know what I mean? When is it the time to get out of there? Like, when is it the point to like, so be like, I had my opportunity, I had my situation, I've learned from this, I'm grateful for it, I saved up, whatever. You know what I mean? Are you just waiting for your new home? Are you just waiting to get swept off your feet?
No, like, but like, okay, like if I put myself, like, again, because obviously I am hello, I am this conversation. I am this conversation. Here I
Not
am when you're
necessarily.
postgrad.
It's
But I
you know,
am though, because you know what I mean? Like I have a plan for myself, and my plan
there
involves.
you go.
But a lot of people I know, especially the people that are post grad, they have a plan for themselves. Whether or not they're acting on it,
Okay.
that's the difference. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
because when I first came home, I wasn't fully acting on my plan. Like I was still working the same job that I made decent money at, but I wasn't making, enough money for me to actually be able to save. Then, when like the summer was over and all the hype and the high like kind of went away, I was like, shit, if I actually want to be able to move out and, get myself the life that I've always wanted, I have to start working on that. So I got a new job and, I'm starting to do this with you. This is something that I went to school for,
Yeah.
something I'm interested in. You know what I mean? But I will say that it did take me a little bit of time to, kind of get the motivation to do it, because it's hard. It's hard to be able to like fully articulate what you want for your life. Because obviously when you're growing up as a kid, you have this ideal of like what life could be and what you would love it to be. But as you grow up, you realize that like that's way less realistic than it was like when you were like 9. You know what I mean? Did that make sense what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's idealized. Like it's great. Like it's
Yeah.
like a.
Were you about to just call me
think of
delusion?
a delusion of grandeur.
You're delusional. You're a delusional human being.
You're not wrong, but like that's not saying it in the negative tone.
Yeah.
I'm saying, it's not wrong to
But
believe
it's like
in yourself.
even
in
like
that sense.
even when you look at my friend Lauren, who did get a job in her field, I know a lot of people, and like this was another stat that we talked about, to like what degree people are actually using their field, like the degree, like working in the
To
field
what extent they're actually using their degree.
exactly. And Lauren, my friend, she's using it to the full,
Yeah,
her full
100%.
thing. But then you look at me, I'm not.
You are right now, though. You're exhibiting.
I
it
am right now.
Yeah,
I am right now.
Yeah. Let's take it a step back. Let's
But-
go. But I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like
hear you.
it's like I don't know. Like
yeah.
because
How much are people using that? We talked about this. This is in the previous show. I like this.
it's 46%
are actually
of college graduates actually work in the field that they studied.
okay. So right down the half, right down the middle, right?
Yeah.
Like I would say I'm not leading towards one side at 46, but right down the middle, 50-50.
Yeah.
And those are those who like that's for those who actually graduate. So,
What the hell do you mean that's for those who actually graduate?
because we know that's just
Yeah,
a whole
actually
nother
you're right.
rabbit.
If
That's
you
a whole
listen to
nother
last
rabbit.
episode, then you know exactly what we're talking about.
That's a whole nother ballpark. We already touched that. But see, that's the crises there, right? Like 50% of people don't even know what they want to do.
But like
They can commit an entire 4 years of their life, 5 years of their life, and they don't even know what they want to do.
This is where you and
They
I
don't
think
even know
have
what they want.
differing opinions though, because
How?
it's okay to not know like
For how long?
For a little while. I just like for people like me, I just graduated college
long?
a year ago.
Okay, good. I hear you.
Okay, if you're 45 years old and you still like don't know like if you like you know what you're doing, then
you just jumped into the gun.
I know,
You shot it to the moon. 45. That's out of our demographic. It was 22 to 31. That's what we're sticking with. 32, whatever. We just pulled on 18 to 29. So
I mean,
we're not jumping to the moon here. We're not going to the other side. But still, I hear you. I just think that there is a bit of like, maybe it's not something that's overly concerning because there might be some underlying like positivity there. People are, banding together. They're investing in themselves and their community and their family. Like it might be a cultural shift that we could be like feeding into the thought of that it's a negative. It could just be a cultural shift that people are seeing that they need to align their interests within.
But do you know
most.
that many people that like look at moving back home as a negative?
But listen, not necessarily.
Answer
but
the question.
No, that's not fair because that's where the difference is
That's
a
not
lie.
fair.
No, I feel like that's the difference is a lie because I do know a lot of families though, whether they're Albanian or Jordanian or Hispanic, that pool their resources. And in Italian, either or. Like I know a lot of cultures who pool their resources in that sense where it's not necessarily, it could just be a cultural shift due to us actually being such a diverse country, you know, and we're just seeing that it's shifting the economy or the people or the demographic, whatever, the overall thought process of how people are invested in themselves.
I don't know. I like really.
So what point, we keep going off tangent. At what point do you think that it's too late? Because you said 27, 28 when I put that out there was like past the bid. So 25? You're calling 25?
I mean, like, for me personally, I hope to be out of my house donezo by the end of my 23rd year.
The 23rd year. And
so a year from now, because I'm about to turn 23. Hey.
Go into the city. Is that where's the next stop? Stop. Can I hear it one time?
I plan to move to the city.
You know.
But like, you know what? I wanted to do that since I was like 5. And then, like, for what I studied in college, it makes a lot of sense for me to go to the city.
It does. I hear you.
Do you not agree? Whatever, Brandon. You didn't go, again, he didn't go to college, everybody. So it's like, he doesn't understand the full idea of a quarter life crisis because he didn't have to.
I didn't live a quarter life crisis?
Tell us about yours then. Tell us about your quarter life crisis. What was your quarter life crisis? Are you living it now? Hey.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't be here right now if I was living it. If I was in the crazy.
Damn.
I was living the crazies, but
cheers to that.
Cheers. I wish you're right. I should have had one.
You can have one for the next episode. Okay. No, don't take mine.
You get the new one.
No, because I already drank this one. You don't want it. I'm Gen Z. I might get you. Cheers. Oh, see, look. Even though you and I have completely different opinions on majority of things in life, we can still come together and share a drink.
I hated everything about that.
No, but seriously, like, I don't want you to take offense when I say this, but I really don't know if I've ever seriously, tell me about your quarter life crisis, because I don't necessarily know if this, like, what we're talking about, I feel like it more so has to do with like graduating, like post grad, than it does like actual just age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then describe what you would say your quarter life crisis was.
I didn't go to college, so I just instantly was living on my own.
Exactly. That's what I meant. You really never, like, you started working from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. You didn't like I feel like college is.
It's not fair.
College is like kind of
I was taking 3 buses and working 2 jobs.
Yeah, but college is like 4 years for you to kind of like figure out like what the hell you want to do.
And I just did that for 4 years on the streets. I don't know what to tell you, you know.
4 years on the streets, guys.
Either way.
If you saw Brandon during those 4 years on the streets, please let me know if you thought he was going through a quarter life crisis or not.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Why?
That I was, because I was a tyrant. I was a tyrant, you know. I was going through my crisis.
Yeah, but like at what age do you feel like you like got out of that and like you fully knew like that, like
it wasn't until they pulled me off the streets.
Okay, like no, I'm being serious when I ask this question.
I'm being serious.
No, it's not. They didn't pull you off the streets, and that's you were like, it's not like you were like risen up and like you were like, I know exactly what I'm talking. No,
it was like that.
No, it wasn't. It literally was.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was incarcerated. It was until I were arrested and pulled off the streets until I actually.
No, but I'm serious. What do you think? The age was that you kind of came to the realization this is
at 23 when I was arrested and pulled off the streets. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I was actually.
That's when you knew that you wanted to have a career?
No, I knew before then. I feel like at that point I was just rejecting it.
Why though?
Because it was there. You know, it's like one of those things.
What the hell does that even mean?
Because you knew it was there. You knew it was obtainable. You knew it was right in front of you. You knew it was an opportunity that regardless any time in the day that you can grab.
I don't think that's how like a career works. I don't think it's just hey.
But that's how a skill. Hey, that's how a skill does, though.
I want to. What?
I'm just saying that, but that is how a skill works. That's how a skill, a talent, an ability, the capability to turn something on and off.
I have skill and talent,
and I believe in that. we wouldn't be here right now. I didn't believe in that. I'm just saying.
But
sometimes
I'm also
things-
going through a quarter life crisis
right
so.
now. So, you know, I mean, I went through mine.
No, but
That's why I'm grateful for
I
it.
said, I think like, yeah, I technically am.
What got
going
me
through
out of it? It was a village. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very grateful for the people around me who lifted me up through that time. Because
Who
if it
lifted
wasn't,
him up.
you said you had a great support system. So I
Yeah.
just want to say
Well, I
that you're
think
right
I
about
think
that. That's
yeah.
a good thing that you have that.
Thank
know?
you. I'm always right. But I think that part of the reason as to why it's like I said, like, yeah, I think I technically am still going through the quarter life crisis. Like I'm trying to figure out who I am and what I want to do with my life. But it would have been 10 times harder to do this and try and figure this out if I didn't have the support system that I have now.
Yeah. And, you know, I acknowledge that.
My
that's
friends
what
are
got
so
me out.
supportive. And also, I don't know, it is very refreshing for me as well, because when I graduated and I came home and, you know, my plan was to do this, like this was my plan. I didn't care if any of my friends were doing it or not. Like this is what I was going to do. And it was very refreshing to see that a majority of my friends did the same thing. Like a lot of us are all at home right now, living with our parents still, just working these like restaurant jobs to like save money to like move out. Some of us are still in school, you know what I mean? Some of us are taking classes, some of us have 2 jobs, but we're trying to figure who we are as people and like get steady on our feet, because
So when is...
I can't answer that question because like I
You
said,
said
27,
23 is yours,
23.
but that's
okay.
still young. though.
Okay. Like 25, like you're pushing it.
That's the court right on the
You're pushing it at 25. No offense to people. Like again, if it's like
extenuating circumstances.
exactly,
Right? Like,
exactly. Like with financials and like health concerns, like that's a completely different ballpark. But if I'm talking about,
If
you
you're
know,
bicking back being bull, you know.
if I'm talking about like you went to college and like you literally have a job for yourself that you're able to, you know, pay to like live on your own, why are you still at home?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No,
Yeah, you're wrong.
no, I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because come on,
it's
20,
com-
think
it's
about where you
common
were
now.
at 25. I can't picture that because it hasn't
can.
happened to me yet. But think about where you were at 25. Like what number, like apartment were you on then?
The house I've lived in for 7 years. 7 years. So going on 8. Before then, it jumped around.
That's actually a really long time.
From 18 to 23, I was most certainly in like 5 different apartments. But I went lease to lease. Like I met these people, you know, I got to know them, signed a lease,
Yeah, but
and got
wait,
into
well,
houses.
do you live alone now?
No, I have a shared home. We share a home. We do.
Why'd you have to describe a shared home?
It's a shared home because we invested in it together. You know what I mean? We just invested.
So
in
like
the
you have a
asset.
house right now that you're living with somebody else.
Yep, my housemate, my friend, my partner, my business partner, whatever you want to call him, Brian.
Your business partner? I thought
Yeah.
I'm your business partner.
I mean, there's multiple. You have to have multiple streams. What are you talking about? You have to have investments. You can't just. It can't just be one thing.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
One thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but even that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, cause like,
I'm
I hope
saying
by
he's a
the
part of my
time that I'm-
support.
yeah.
You know, you have Laura and I have Brian, and just like it's a great thing. Either way, we're coming to the consensus here that the thing that to get through the quarter life crisis is a good support system, right? Like leaning into.
I think a
people
good
around you.
support system, and also, you know, going to therapy helps.
No, stop. We're literally gonna kill it there at that point. We're gonna crush this episode.
I think it was pretty good. I think this was a great conversation that you and I had, and I think I really schooled you and really gave you a sense of what it's
not always a
like
competition.
it's not a competition, but I think that, you know, sometimes through these conversations I really do give you a completely different perspective, because again, you didn't go to college, you didn't even know what it's like
I'm
to like
grateful for the
post-grad,
insight.
gotta find a job in my field, blah,
I was
blah,
out
blah,
there
blah.
though. I told you 4 years on the streets. That was 4 years on the streets.
And I'm glad
That's like
I'm glad that
campuses all up and down the East Coast. You know, they were just weekends at that point. What are you doing what do you do at 18 to 22 when you don't have college to worry about and you're just working full time?
you party.
I'm just taking long weekends.
Taking long to do
I'm just taking long weekends
to do what?
Anything and everything you possibly could.
That's ridiculous.
I guess.
No.
I guess for the most part, yeah, you would say. But from your experiences and what you told me about college, it just sounds like the same thing that I was doing, but just in one isolated location.
Oh yeah.
It was just in one like concentrated, like here's your bubble, and you go.
Yeah,
there.
here's your bubble. Everybody go get fucked up every weekend, and then try and get to class. Figure it out.
Not for I. I could never.
And you're just so much better because of that.
No, I do not. I would never.
You're being
think
so
that.
humble. I said you're being so humble.
I could never. I said it took a village. It took a village to get me here. So,
well, it takes. I think that in figuring out who you are as a person, it does take a village.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're never gonna figure out who you are as a person if you don't have people recognizing the good things about you.
Or you're just sheltering yourself from hearing the criticism from the outside world.
No.
And that's why you stay at home, because it's comfy. No. Okay. We can
and on that note, I'm going to yell at Brandon now because he's just going to make me go around in circles. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, you guys. And we'll catch you later with some more scoops.
Clipped.
Peace out.
Bye.